Hello and welcome to another video for Executive Communication. My name is Dr. Michael Edmondson. This video examines the final report. Now, for the last few weeks, you've been putting together various components of the report, one step at a time. And this week, you actually put everything together in one document called a final report. It's important to remember because we're now moving on to the next phase of the class, the final part of the class, after we submit the final report. So this is a checklist. It includes numerous things that you've got to be careful of and include a cover page, notification of class, table of contents, introduction, executive summary, page layouts. We'll talk about images, pictures, and graphs, formatting, and sources. So, watch this a few times to make sure that you check off each item on the list. So let's take a look at the cover page. You do need a cover page. And if you're in Word, you can just go to Insert, Cover Page, and it actually gives you options. You can get more cover page options from Office.com. If you're using another program, find out if it offers cover page options. If not, you'll have to create your own cover page. On that cover page are three things, and only three things. A title, the date, and you're putting March 2019 if that's the semester. If it's summer, you would put like July 2020. If it's the fall 2021, you would put, October, November 2021, whatever the case is. So you put the month that you're submitting and the year, and your name, of course. If you'd like to include an image, that's optional. And you should have a color scheme for your report as well. And you can choose two colors. Don't make them too bold so as to distract from the material you have in the report. But, it's nice to have a color scheme to the report. So again, your title, the month and the year you're submitting the report, and then your name. Those three things go on the cover page. In terms of size and font, generally Times New Roman is fine. It's a title page, so maybe 28 size font is okay. You can use your judgment. Nothing, again, too big or too small. Certainly not 12 size. That would be the regular text. But you can certainly go up maybe to 28 or thereabouts. So use your judgment. On the inside front cover, please put this statement. This report fulfills an educational requirement for MGMT 695 Executive Communication. Now we put this notification, this report fulfills an educational requirement for MGMT 695 Executive Communication, on the inside front cover. So if anyone were to see this report, they know it's for a class. It's an assignment. It is not an official statement of work from a nonprofit organization or from a for-profit company. This report is an assignment for a graduate level class. So it's important to make that notice. So that notice goes on the inside front cover. And that's the only thing that goes on the inside front cover. You put it in the center, Times New Roman size 12 font. That's it, just the one sentence. And anyone that reads it knows then it's for a class. So then you go to the table of contents. Your table of contents is going to look pretty much like this. You're going to have an introduction, a list of objectives, an executive summary, your history, trends, challenges. The only component that's new here will be next steps, areas of further study. We'll get to that in a minute. And resources. Now, you pretty much have done an introduction. You already have your objectives. You'll create an executive summary. History, trends, and challenges are all done. Next steps you'll create and resources you have. So 90% of this material you already have. You're just compiling it. Everything you've done now in one document. So your introduction. Remember that statement of interest you did from week 2 early on in the semester, explaining why you chose the topic that you selected for this semester? Go back to it, revise it, and use it here. The introduction is not the executive summary. It is on its own page. It merely introduces the topic. Again, less than 400 words. It's on its own page. You can include a picture on this page if you'd like, but it's just a short introduction, resembles your statement of interest, so you already have this. Go back, revise it, and use it here. And each page gets titled, so this would be titled the introduction page. And you're off and running with this. This component of the report is fairly straightforward. List of objectives, this is done. You already have these. Go back, copy, paste them, organize them, and place them on the third, fourth, fifth page, whatever would be here of the report. That probably will all fit on one page, and that's fine. Your executive summary. Here you're going to have to go through your history, trends, and challenges. Come up with one sentence for each of those bullet points that you have, and create an executive summary. And here's what it's important. Here's the key takeaway. If the reader only spends time on the executive summary, what do you want them to know? What's the key takeaway from each section? And executive summaries are no more than one page. If this is an executive communication class, executives don't have a lot of time to read a 10 or 15 page report, but they will read an executive summary. So you have a brief paragraph followed by bullet points. What are those bullet points should directly relate to the history, trends, and challenges and next steps of your report. So again, the key takeaway is think about this. If the reader only spends time on your one-page executive summary, what is the key takeaway you want that reader to have? And the executive summary is for the entire report. So yes, you have to summarize all of your work in one page in bullet fashion. But you've already done all the research. Just now go back and figure out what are the key bullet points associated with each history, trends, and challenges component, and you introduce those with a brief paragraph, and then you list your bullet points. Again, this executive summary is different than the introduction. The introduction that we just covered introduces the reader to the topic. The executive summary summarizes the report that is in their hands or on their screen. So there's a critical difference. Take your time with the executive summary. You always write the executive summary last. You can't possibly write the summary first. You have no idea what you're writing. Now that you have written the entire report, go back and summarize it in this fashion. One brief paragraph followed by bullet points. And again, no more than one page. The body of the report, you already have history, trends, and challenges. You might want to add some so what statements. Why is this important? The new component here, a very brief one page or less next steps, areas of study that you would recommend. Obviously, you would include the objectives in this. So the body of the report, all of this is already done, except you're going to put some thought into what are some next steps, what are some areas of further study that need to be completed. In this body of report, you would also use all of your images, pictures, and charts to fully explain and support each of the bullets involved in your history, trends, and challenges section. As you're putting the report together, you might want to think about, well, why is this important, and highlight certain things. You can easily do that through some call-outs, which I'll talk about in a minute. And in the last part, you're going to include your next steps and areas of study. So this part should be the easiest part. Again, you've done almost all of this, so now you're just putting everything in one document. Your resource page, remember you've already have all your resources, so include the full citation, the URL for each source. Put them in alphabetical order by last name of the author. If there's no author, you can use the title. Some of your resources may take 2 pages. That's absolutely fine. But make sure you include all of the resources you used for the report. Formatting tips. No typos. Many of you had typos in the sections that you submitted. Please clean those up. Page numbers are at the bottom center. The cover page does not get a page number. All other pages do. It's bottom center, please. Wrap text around each picture. This is a simple example. This is called the box model, where the text is clean and neat around the circle here in this illustration. You can easily find videos on how to do this. If you're in Word, there are many ways to learn how to wrap text around picture. Again, if you need help, though, you can let me know. I'll provide some videos if you can't find them online. But wrap text around each picture and makes for a very clean presentation of your text and the image. You can use some call-outs, as I previously mentioned. If you have some text that you want to force the reader to see, that really answers the so what here of this page or this paragraph, you can, as this example illustrates, increase the size of the font of the text, maybe put it in italics, and it's an actual text box. And you can see in this specific report about NASA and the European Space Agency, the text of the report is wrapped around this call-out box. So you simply just add a text box and you wrap the text around the text box. Fairly straightforward. You see this in many reports. I wouldn't do this on every single page. You should have, generally speaking, on each page you should have an image, chart or graph, or call out. And it depends on how many pages your report could be. 10, it could be 12, it could be 14. I'm not really worried about the number of pages here, but you generally want at least one call out, image, graph, or chart on a page. Sometimes you might need 2, understood, but generally you don't want more than 2, because then you don't have a lot of room for the text. So if your report is 20 pages, that's fine. Again, it's kind of irrelevant how many pages to the reports. We're looking at the content and whether or not you present a clear, concise, and compelling presentation of your topic. 1-inch margins all around make it easy for the reader to hold or view the document. Times New Roman 12 with 1.5 line spacing if possible. Single spacing might be a little cramped. You can go to double spacing, but I do like the 1.5 line spacing option that Word provides. Only write in third person, please. We've been through this several times. Most of you have this down pat. Key paragraphs to 5 sentences max. We don't need 10 sentence paragraphs or 20 sentence paragraphs. Each paragraph really should have one theme, one item that it's discussing, and then you move on to the next paragraph. The last page you leave blank. This is very important. The reader then knows that the report is finished. So please leave the last page blank. You save the entire thing as a PDF if you need help with that. There are videos on this as well on YouTube and elsewhere online. And then you upload the PDF to Blackboard. And voila, congratulations. We've actually then, once you submitted your report, you've completed the first 3 parts of the class. The foundation is really the topic, you did research, and now the publication of the report. So once we've chosen the topic, we did the research, and now we published a report, the last component of executive communication is distribution. So over the remaining weeks of the semester, the assignments will involve ways to communicate what you have in your report. So it's extremely important to make sure your images, graphs, charts, pictures, call-outs, resources, and everything else is together in one report, because then you're going to figure out ways to communicate that sections of the report over the remaining weeks. That's the distribution component. But of course you can't distribute anything unless you know what it is that you're distributing. Well, now you know, because you have a report. So congratulations, you've spent several weeks writing each component of the report. Now this assignment is you're compiling everything together in one neat report, and you're off and running for the remaining weeks of the semester. As always, though, if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me, and I wish you well as you complete this section of executive communication and turn in your final report.